I mentioned, I guess, waning geopolitical concerns to a degree at the beginning of this week. Are the markets, though, becoming a little bit too complacent about that, do you think?
I don't think they're necessarily complacent, but definitely we're sort of looking at this waxing and waning pattern. We saw that, at the end of last week it definitely was up. Geopolitical risks, then start of the week, over the weekend, a few pieces of good news. Hope springs eternal. Yesterday was dominated by that, and now again, well, you just summed them up, the headlines. They don't sound too great. The situation could get worse in Iraq. It seems like it actually is, and that humanitarian mission may be read into that a lot. And there's not a whole lot of economic data to distract people at the moment, so that doesn't help either.
All right, I mentioned the ZEW. That's out at 10 o'clock this morning. Are we going to see more signs of weakness in Germany? Clearly, Germany has been a focus over the past week or so.
Normally, we don't pay too much attention to the German ZEW index. We like the PMI better, or the IFO, because it's a sort of a harder piece of data. This is really going around analysts and asking them basically, how do you feel, investors, how do you feel? And that's always a bit tricky. But the problem here is that this is a good indicator for sort of the first sentiment hit from the sanctions, and that's why people will watch it. And if you're looking at the surveys there, of course, both the current situation, or sort of 8 points down expectations, and the future expectations index, 10 points down, and that already wasn't that great, are both discounting quite a big reduction based on that, on those sanctions and the hit to the German economy.
Sure. Could all of this, and if so, when, hit the financial markets hard and see a real turnaround in their fortunes?
Well, really, it's difficult to say. So far, evidence this year is that financial markets have been very, very resilient to geopolitical tension. To some extent, they may not know how to discount it. To another extent, they truly are resilient, and a lot of it is still all about liquidity, sort of triumph there, really, of the checkbook, ultimately. That could still continue. What could happen, though, is that this story, where how much does it hit Europe, can gain some traction, and we could see some divergences here. We still favor a flattening of the Bund curve. We still, within Europe, make distinction, because for once the periphery looks pretty good. The relative safe haven function stays very much intact, because the Russia-Ukraine story hitting Europe is very much more focused on hitting the core countries than it will the periphery.